Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You all understand that we are energy, and in order for us to get our energy flowing, we have to respond, we have to move our energy, and since we've been sitting for a little while, why don't we move our energy? Let's stand and let's do something, clap, stomp your feet, make some noise in the room. We made it to NTP 2013. Woohoo! Excellent, thank you. Certainly, it is my honor this morning to share this space and time with you all. But before I go any further, it is my distinct pleasure and my honor to honor the Madam President of this great organization, Michelle Crockett. It's always a pleasure when I see her on the campus at work, and the first thing I say is, Madam President. I love that. And I also want to acknowledge our National Board of Directors. Good morning to you all. To our immediate past president, Sue Webster, and to our illustrious first president, Allie Latimer, and all of the wonderful, awesome past presidents of this national organization. Let's give it up for them. And this is indeed a gasp moment for me. And so I never take it for granted, nor do I take it lightly when I have the opportunity to share space and time with other women and our men today to just share a wonderful word that I feel will go from my heart to yours. And so this morning I want to talk for the moments that have been given to me from the theme, the passport process and wonderful, powerful, amazing you. And you know, it's always encouraging when you have not spoken to others who are on the dais with you, who stand up and they say some of the very same things that you will say. But this is a moment in time, a great lesson that we can learn when you have the opportunity to do anything and there is somebody else who's doing it the same thing that you're doing. Know with all assurance that nobody can do it like you. You ought to clap right there. Because this is critical for us as women. It is important for you to get in your own flow. No one can bring to the table what you bring to the table. No matter what you're doing and how they're doing it, no one can do it like you. And when you come to the table of whatever you are doing to bring your skill set, it is important that you come with a spirit of confidence, with a spirit of excellence, with a spirit to understand and know that there is no one created like you in all of the earth. Do you understand that? That there's no one that has your fingerprint, no one that can bring to the table what you bring to the table, because we are all uniquely designed and created. And so when we start to talk today about the passport process and wonderful, powerful, amazing you, it is important to understand that the first step in obtaining a passport is indeed a decision, Madam President. And you do understand that not making a decision is indeed a decision. And so we have to get to the point where we are not afraid to make decisions. Because the one thing that I am sure of is that we all have options. And so if indeed you make a decision and it's not the, quote, right decision, you have the option to change your mind. And that's important for us. Because some of us are afraid to make decisions, afraid to make choices, because we have the chatter going on in our minds. And it's the story that has been written by you yourself, along with those in our lives that have told us certain things about ourselves. Perhaps you didn't have the great support that some people had, and someone told you that you weren't good enough. Someone told you that you would not amount to anything. But those are stories. And the one thing that I know about stories is that stories can be rewritten. And that's what you need to understand. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we can clap right there. Stories are made to be rewritten. And it's a wonderful thing. I have a 7-year-old, and when we read stories together, he always wants to change something, or he doesn't like the way the author has written the story. And I tell him, Michael, well, when you write your own book, then you can write it the way that you want to write it. And so today, as we start on this journey together, it is critical that you make a decision to write your own story. And in that writing, you have the option on what characters will go with you or not. What characters you will write in your story or not. And the one thing that I want you to understand about your story is that it is okay to be the main character. I think that's good right there. Now, if I were in another setting, I would say, now you have to talk back to me. But since I'm not in that setting, just a clapping of your hands will do, all right? And so the next thing about the passport process that I particularly like is that you have to apply for a passport. And so it is in your careers. You can't just sit and talk about the job. You can't just sit and talk about you want to move forward if you don't take the time to apply. And the one thing in my position, and I'm sure the Madam President can co-sign, is that we have a lot of people that come to talk to us about their jobs and what they do not like and who is potentially discriminated against them, whether it be true or not, perceived or not. And one of the things that I've asked many people who have come to sit in my office is, well, what have you done to change your situation? What have you done to move yourself from where you are to where you want to be? And this is the important thing about the passport. The passport gives you the ability to move from one place to the other. And this is what you need to understand. Okay, let me back up. I'm sorry. Y'all know how it is when you get to going and get in the flow. Let me stand back and take a breath while y'all clap. It is important to understand that you have the power on the inside of you to change your situation. You have the power of your own destiny in your hand. And this is why we come to training. This is why we have this wonderful theme of the passport to career success, because you can't have the process without yourself. And the process is one thing, but how you feel about yourself is another thing. And if indeed you approach any process with a spirit of low self-esteem, with a spirit that you can't do it, guess what? You're not going to be able to do it. But if you change your thinking and you change your mind about what it is that you bring to the table and your fabulous, wonderful, amazing self, I promise you that doors will begin to open for you. And then some doors that needed to have been closed a long time ago will indeed close. But it's important. But it is important for you to understand and know the difference. You have to know what you want. No one can know what you want for you. You have to know what you want. Make a decision this week. Where is your career going? What do you want to accomplish in your career? This is the other thing about the passport process. No one can get your passport for you. It's not a third-party process. But you have to get your own passport. You have to bring your own documents. You have to bring your own information so that you can walk away with the passport with your name and your picture and your name and your picture only. It is important for you to understand that this process, if you engage it, it will give you wonderful results because your passport allows you to go anywhere in the world. You're not constricted or constrained. But if you decide that you want to take a vacation or go and live in some other part of the world, you can do just that because you have engaged the process of your passport. And the one thing that I love about travel, when you use your passport or not, but it's always better when you travel with a travel buddy or a travel partner. And in that, you get to really understand and learn about other people. And then when you go with your travel partner or your travel buddy, you get to meet new people and experience new things. And this is what we come to do here, to meet new people and experience new things. And then we have to get our passport stamped. And that's one thing that we have to understand, that when you have a stamp of anything, it encourages you. And when you look back at that passport and you see that stamp, it reminds you of where you've been. It reminds you of your experiences in that particular place. Anybody have any good experiences maybe in the islands? My husband and I had the awesome pleasure to go to the Dominican Republic last year, and when I look at my passport and I open it up and see that stamp, I just do one of those. But the thing I want to leave you with this morning, as we go forward and we engage one another in this travel time this week, because that's exactly what it is. I am a member of a legal listserv, and several years ago, one of my colleagues sent out an email, and in the email it said that a study had been done at Stanford University in the psychology department. And the head of the psychology department, he came to the mic, cleared his throat, and he said, the best thing that a man can do is marry a woman. He said, the best thing that a woman can do is nurture her relationship with her sisters and her girlfriends, because it releases something called serotonin in the brain. And serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps us feel better, that helps us ward off depression, that helps us have an overwhelming sense of well-being. And this is why when you have your night out with your girlfriends, when you go back home, you feel good. And you're like, okay, I think I can make it, because you let your head down and you begin to have those conversations with one another, those intimate conversations that really lets you know that you're not the only one that's going through something. You're not the only one that's trying to figure this thing called life out. You're not the only one that's having problems with your crazy kids. And for the sake of Michelle's sons in the room and my sons upstairs, we won't go there this morning. But it releases something called serotonin in the brain. And so we're going to get started this morning with our travel partners and our travel buddies around us. And so I want you to get up from where you are, and we're getting ready to begin our travel as we go into this day of training. And when you see your sisters, I want you to it's nice to travel with you. Come on now. Come on. You have to engage the process. You have to engage the process. It's good to travel with you. Come on, travel partners. Don't you feel the energy level raising in the room? It's good to travel with you this week. Excellent, ladies. And you all see how you just start talking? Come on and give yourselves a hand. Come on and give yourselves a hand as we start this week of travel. And remember that you are wonderful, that you are amazing, that you are powerful, and that you have the ability on the inside to make decisions and choices about your own career. So have a great travel week, and I'm looking forward to all of the wonderful, powerful witnesses from this NTP. Thank you.